Hi, I'm Matt from Haltech, and today on Haltech Heroes, I'm here with Chea from Powertune in Sydney. And now, Chea, we've got a time attack vehicle here. World Time Attack Challenge happened a couple of weeks back here in Sydney. You had quite a few vehicles out there. Tell us how you went.
Good. We had 2 GTRs on the podium in open class.
Okay.
This one being number 1, and we had a red 32 GTR, second place.
All right, so open class 1 and 2.
Yes.
Not a bad effort. Tell us a little bit about what it takes to build an open class car. What kind of equipment do you have on these sorts of vehicles?
Powertune to build these cars is good because we do everything in-house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we built the engine, we fitted the gearbox, we pretty much built the whole car. The aero was half done by us, but the carbon work was done by Top Stage in Melbourne.
Tell me about the equipment you've got on board. What kind of transmission do we have? We're obviously running a turbo setup.
Engine is an RB26 stroker,
Yep.
2.8 litre. It runs an Albin's sequential transmission, Haltech engine management, and a Borgwarner Turbo.
You converted this car from a Sport 2000 ECU to an Elite ECU in the weeks coming up to the event.
Yeah.
What do you see as some of the advantages of the Elite ECU versus the Sport?
The advantage would be the flexibility. Everybody uses a different strategy in doing things.
Yep.
That gives me the flexibility to have different strategies when I'm tuning different parts of the engine.
All right, so you've got, I guess, the multiple maps and being able to set up each and every individual map or correction based on any input. You can really customize the map to each individual vehicle. Now, before we look at the car a little bit further, tell me a bit about your workshop here.
Our main business would be high performance street cars.
Okay.
Japanese imports most of the time. That's, I would say, 90% of our business. 40% of our business is dyno tuning as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a bit more of a closer look at this car, and maybe I'll get you to explain some of the parts on that as we look at it close up. So Chea, I see a lot of custom fabricated parts in this engine bay. Do you do all that in-house here?
Yes, we do. We do all the MIG welding, TIG welding.
Right here in-house?
Yeah.
Now in this engine bay, I see we've also got a lot of additional bracing in there.
Yeah.
Is that for stiffness? Why do you put all that into a car like this?
On this car, we moved the radiator support,
Yep.
so we can actually remove the fans and have the ducting come through the car. So that's why we've done this front bracing here to support the rest of the cooling system and intercooler. We're actually just running just BC coilovers. So
Yeah, wow.
I think from what I've been told, they're actually just cheaper side coilovers especially for what it's doing. I guess a balance of knowing what to do with the parts that you got.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
So Chea, this is the Borgwarner Turbo you told me about.
Yes.
What are the specs on it?
It's an EFR series turbo, so it's got a billet compressor wheel, 67mm compressor. I think it's rated 900 horsepower.
How much boost are we making?
We're running 35 pounds. This engine is a 2.8 litre Brian Crower stroker kit. It runs a ported head with Kelford cams. I think it's 8,200 RPM. Okay, we still run the individual throttle bodies with a Hypertune plenum. Hypertune helps Steve out with all the intercooler and the piping. At 4 wheels, 750 horsepower. Once we put the aero on the car, we actually lost 10 kilometers. So I think like 287 was top speed we hit this year.
Now Chea, the first thing I see in the cockpit here is they use a fancy looking shift knob.
It's actually an Albin's gearbox, sequential gearbox, ST6, exactly the same one they use in the V8 supercars. But this actually has got adapters to fit for RB26. Or GTRs, it's got the forward drive transfer case on it as well. So.
Okay, so still running forward drive?
Yes.
Now tell me, this has got some wiring hanging out the side of this thing. Why is there wiring on your shift knob?
That's actually a strain gauge that sends a signal to the ECU. So actually once we're pulling on it for the next gear, the ECU cuts the engine and lets us engage the next gear.
Okay. So the big advantage of that for you is obviously being able to flat shift without taking your foot off the throttle, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's the biggest advantage for us. Not just not using the clutch, but because you've got a big turbo and you're running the boost, when you don't close the throttle, you don't have that time to build up again. No lag between gear shifts. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Now I can see that you've also got a whole swag of Haltech equipment in the cockpit here. You've got the dash, you've got the ECU, you've also got the Raceback Smart Wire. I'm not going to ask you about that because Scotty's going to do a full tech feature on all the electronics in this car. So Chea, I want to say thanks for showing us around today, and good luck at Time Attack next year.
Thank you. Thanks.